Buongiorno, everyone. Welcome back to Lineup Predictions here at the Magpie Channel TV. First of all, let me know if you can hear us. Don't want to be chatting away to myself for a couple of minutes like I was in the watch along the other day. A little bit embarrassing that, chatting away to yourself. But here we are for the Liverpool lineup predictions tomorrow night. That's Thursday night, 8 p.m. kickoff, live on BT Sports at Anfield. Second in the league at the moment, Liverpool, while we are second off bottom. So it's going to be a really, really good matchup. Unbeaten this season so far at Anfield in 8 games. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Burnley, Crystal Palace and Southampton were all beat there in 8 games. Who's Arsenal, Villa, Burnley, Palace and Southampton, and neither of them scored a goal. So only 3 teams have scored a goal at Anfield so far this season. Loud and clear, Stephen. Thank you very much for joining me to let me know, and thank you for letting me know that you can hear us. Appreciate it. So going to be a tough one, obviously. 4-0 losers to 11th place Leicester at the weekend. And then on Sunday, we're against Man City, top of the league, who just put 7 past Leeds. So that's going to be dead good. Looking forward to the next few games. Liverpool, though, they're the focus for now. We're moving past Leicester. We're not onto City just yet, and United the day after Boxing Day. Out of the other 3 games at Anfield, Brighton, Chelsea, and City got a point. But that's all that anyone's been able to do against Liverpool at Anfield so far this season. Just draws, 3 draws, 5 wins, 5 without scoring a goal. So in total, it's 11 wins for Liverpool this season, 3 draws. That away draw was a 3-3 with Brentford. And the only one loss that they've had this season was away to West Ham. So not a bad record, obviously. Still second in the league, only 1 loss. Clean record at home. They're just a different class. Liverpool, obviously, flying high in the Champions League as well. So what we're going to do with them, Bobby Firmino is expected to be back. He's been out with a hamstring injury, but he's been back in full training this week. Curtis Jones, he's also back training. He's been out with an eye issue since October. Divock Origi is the only one who is likely to miss out. So we've got a chance there. I mean, we've still only got Salah and Mane, Firmino, and it was the other one, Jota. Pick the bunch. Thiago, Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Alisson. It's going to be a dead good game, that, like, when we cannot stop Leicester scoring 4 goals. So here we are. Aaron's saying, feel like it's going to be an unchanged side again, or Miggy out for Fraser. Interesting. Yeah, we have played the same formation and same players for the last couple of games. That was against Burnley, and they do play that against Norwich as well. What was the formation against Norwich? I can't remember. Maybe it's 3 games in a row we've played the same formation, but only 2 with the same starting lineup. Feddy out is a blow. Yes, he is. So and the Newcastle team news there then, and that's basically it. Federico Fernandez. He's the news of the day. He is out with a thigh injury. Probably only going to be for a couple of weeks, which normally wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You'd only really be looking at maybe 2 games, but it's the Christmas period. So there's a few games out. So Eddie Howe says that he expects him to be out for most of it. Doesn't really expect him to be back, but then we've got City, Liverpool, City, United, Everton, just before New Year's, so probably going to be 4 games at least. Then you've got Southampton just after Boxing Day, so potentially 5 games we're going to be out Fernandez for. So we'll see about that one. Norwich was basically do whatever you want. We've got, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that. But we did start a particular way, didn't we? I'm sure it was. That was the first game where we tried 4 at the back, because his first 2-3 games, it was like a 3-5-3 kind of formation, wasn't it? So Norwich was the first game, but Clark fucked that up. Cheers, mate. He's obviously available. He was available again after his red card on Sunday, but I don't think he even made the bench, so not, which I was kind of pleased about. Like, he doesn't deserve it. Like, Clark's been horrendous, so doesn't really deserve to be on the bench as far as I'm concerned. Not when we've got Fernandez, who's done well when he's come on in his last couple of appearances. And Shaw's been doing well, and you can say what you want about Lascelles. He's been inconsistent for as long as I can remember. Good games some weeks, horrific games other weeks. That was probably Leicester. Really bad performance. 3 at the back. 3 with Clark at the back. Maybe so. That is an option. We'll get to that. So, yeah, have a look out for that one. And what score for you going for tomorrow? Fuck me, mate. I don't know. How far can you count? It could be embarrassing. It really could. I don't even really want to give an honest prediction because, yeah, like, you always expect the worst, but sometimes it's not always that bad. Like, we have got a decent record against the top teams. We don't always go and get absolutely peppered. Like, when was the last time we had, like, a Leeds-like performance last night? When was the last time we got beat 7-0 in the Premier League? Doesn't happen often. We've got a 1-1 draw down at Anfield last season. Obviously, Joe Willock with the late equaliser. And if you remember the game well, Callum Wilson had a goal wrongly ruled out for offside. Or was it a foul, maybe? I can't remember which one it was. It was a foul or an offside, which was wrong. So, yeah, we got that one chalked off. That should have been the equaliser. Everyone buzzing. And then when it was ruled out with seconds left on the clock, you think, wait, that's it. Points fucked. We're going to get nothing out of this. Then up stepped Joe Willock with a late banger. So, yeah, we did get a point down there. So, it hasn't really been too bad. Let's have a look. Yeah, that is about it, really. Paul Dummett, of course, long-term absentee. We're not going to see him for a while. Haven't seen him in a while. Probably still not going to see him for a few weeks. Eddie Howe did say he is developing, though. He is getting better, but still no time frame on it yet. Still haven't really got a clue when he's going to come. But keep an eye out for the 2 players, one booking away from a suspension, which, of course, would be the Man City game on Sunday. And that is right back Javier Manquillo and star striker Callum Wilson. So be careful on them getting bookings because, yeah, they will miss the Man City game on Sunday. Let's have a look, guys. Back through with Hayden at the back? Nah, not for me. I mean, is he as good as Clark and Kraft? Maybe. Do you just go with 4 at the back against Liverpool? It's dangerous. I don't know, but I don't really like seeing Hayden play centre back. I think he does a good job when he does fill in. I ain't got a problem with him playing there. He hasn't really had a bad game as far as I'm aware. It's just not his position. Don't really like to see players play out of position, so I'm not for that. Frustrating that Fetty is out. Thoughts on the press conference, Kerg? A bit disappointed by Eddie from these interviews, if I'm honest. Thought you would come in and shake things up a bit. New ideas. I haven't really watched all of the press conference. I just took notes from bits of it, like mainly just squad news. That's all I really go into. But while we're on this topic, in general, excluding this one, I think he's pretty optimistic, and like you can see, like he's got a smile on his face. He looks happy in his job, which is good. He's better than what Steve Bruce does. He doesn't just come and slate the players, the fans, the press. Like he's generally got good things to say about it. And in terms of the tactics and what's going on the field, I feel like things have been shaken up and had new ideas. Like I still think it's chalk and cheese from the way Steve Bruce played. Like that was just awfully defensive, 5 at the back, not much attack and threat, no possession, no shots on target. Players playing out of position, players uninterested. Like you just need to look at Joe Linton and John Joe Shelby. Few of them that's really, really stepped up. Jamal Lewis has been good. Players that hasn't been playing well for a long, long time. So I did say something about what who was it? It was I can't remember who posted it, but Klopp spoke very highly of Eddie Howe. He says that he's a brilliant manager, and you can see that things have changed, like the possession, the stats, the shots on target, all of that have changed. So I do think Eddie Howe has shaken things up, and we have implemented some new ideas. I'm more optimistic watching his press conferences than I am with Steve Bruce, but still, we're a long, long way away. But that being said, not Graham Jones, Eddie Howe has only been in the job for a few weeks, so we've still got time, and we've still got the January transfer window coming, but time is running out a little bit. That Leicester game, I think we needed at least a point out of just to try and keep the hopes up after the Burnley win. And I think it was doable as well. Like Leicester haven't had the best of seasons. Very good team. Rate them very, very highly. but they used to be in like the top 6. They went into the game on Sunday 11th, just knocked out of the Europa League. Away midweek trip, Thursday away trip in Italy. Loads of players out with COVID. It was a prime opportunity to thrive on that win against Burnley and at least get a point out of it. But for the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought we would have. I think we were the better team in the opening minutes, but that obviously all went out the window once we started conceding goals. We just can't come back from it. That at best we'll come back and draw. I can't remember the last time we came back and won from being behind. Must have been a long time. Aaron thinks it's going to be 7-0. Maybe so. We'll see about that. We will win when we least expect to. It's the most Newcastle thing to happen. It is, though, to be honest. We have done well. Beat the season before last, we beat Man City and Chelsea at home. Man United at home. Sorry, drew 2-2 with Chelsea. Done okay. We do perform better when we least expect it. When my expectations are 0, that's when you can surprise people. I'm not saying we're going to win, but at least a good performance, a sneaky draw like we got last season. It's more than welcome. It's the teams where, like Norwich, where you expect to win and then you only get the draw. That's when it's disappointing. So, actually, it was 0-0 at home last season with Liverpool as well, wasn't it? It was a very good defensive performance. Not many attacking options. I think that was around about Christmas time. So that would have been around about this time last year, maybe a couple of days after Christmas. I can't remember. But yeah, got a 0-0 draw at home, 1-1 draw down at Anfield towards the end of the season. So, crazier things have happened. If we get another draw, I'll be happy with it. It's another point on the board against the team where you least expect. We do need to start turning 1 point into 3. Way too many of our points this season have only been points where there should have been 3, not being able to hold out for the win. But like I say, away to Liverpool at Anfield, where they haven't lost a game all season, I will take a point right now. Scared about this game. Are you going to be there tomorrow night? I think Renty is. Yeah, I'm sure he was. I'm not sure if plans have changed over Christmas, but I won't be. Renty should be, I think. Yeah. It was a handball against Will. Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think he shot and it was saved and it bounced up and kind of hit his arm a little bit, but awful handball decision. Damage limitation, goal difference could be crucial. It could be. Yeah, could be. Yeah, just keep the goals out. Even if we play well, but clearly Liverpool are the better team. If you get beat by a better team, but play well and fight right until the death and don't give them chance after chance after chance, fine. I'll take that because, like I say, I'm not expecting anything. That's why I'd be happy with a draw. But yeah, as long as we keep the goal difference down, play well, come home proud of a performance, loads of positives to take out of it that we can try and put against Man City and Man United, then that's a positive for me. 4-5-1 and a bricklayer. Burnley v Watford postponed now. That's a point. I don't know about this game, but maybe the City game at the weekend may not even go ahead. I think, lots of teams are applying for games to be postponed because of the COVID situation at the minute. So we'll see what happens. Free Hit FC is a Spurs fan. Do you want Burnley to win or Watford? Oh, that is a stinky, horrible, dirty question, that is. I don't know. Is a draw good enough? I mean, Watford winning is... neither one of them's good for us, to be honest. I forgot that game was on, wasn't it? Was that the game that's just been postponed? Burnley v Watford. I suppose that's probably good, to be honest. If it was to go ahead, then where are we? Oh, no, I wouldn't want any of them to win. It's pretty dangerous either one of them winning. Watford winning, they're 3 points ahead of Wood. That just suckers win more. We've got a massive ladder to climb if Watford win. And if Burnley win, that would take them 1 point ahead of Watford and be 4 points ahead of us. So, yeah, don't really want either of them to win. So if it is postponed, then that is brilliant news. Hope we don't get called off like I'm going tomorrow. Champion, good to see. Wilson may as well get booked. Got no chance against City. I would go Hayden in for Willock and with Fernandez out. I'm predicting a 5-3-2 with Clark coming back in. Unfortunately, could see it happening. Aaron, very well may happen. Eddie can only work with what he's got. That is a fact. Unfortunately, we don't have enough technical and quality players to suit his style and philosophy. That is true. That's why January is so important forward. There's been a lot of rumors today that it's going to say that Kieran Trippier could be one of the first signings, which I think would be a brilliant signing. People turning their nose up at it because it's £30 million and he's 31 years old. Get a fucking grip yourselves. That would be an amazing signing and would suit Eddie Howe's style to a T. I'm sure he signed him when he was at Burnley. I don't know if it was just a loan deal or if he signed him permanently, but Eddie Howe's worked with Kieran Trippier before. They've got a good relationship. So, and yeah, like he's a world-class player. World class is maybe is a bit of a bit borderline. Maybe it's a bit of an overstretch, but he's got bags of Premier League experience, bags of European experience playing in a foreign league, a European league, bags of international experience, played in a World Cup final, scored that free kick in the semi, went to the Champions League final with Tottenham. He's playing with Atletico Madrid, like flying high in La Liga, doing well in the Champions League. 31 years old, so what? We slated Mike Ashley for not signing Salman Rondon because he was 29. Like, so what? Like, it was like 30, I think it's 29, 30 years old. Like, now we need to get a new take on it. I think long term or short term, it'll be a brilliant signing. If we get relegated and he releases a clause, so what? At least good players are wanting to come and help out the cause. Yeah, you could say he's coming for a payday, but are you paying his wage? Like, the club take on a lot of money from the fans, from club tickets and merchandise, shirts and all that, beers and pies at halftime. But our new owners aren't Mike Ashley. They're not going to milk the club for everything they've got. They've got money to burn. Like, I'm pretty sure they can bag 30 million and not blink twice. Like, I ain't paying his wages. So get in whoever you want, as long as it's going to improve the team. I'm all for it. Positives that 2 of the next 3 games are at home. Yeah, it is. I think we've always got a decent record against top teams at home as well. Not always, but better than away. Fans can help us pull through in these home games, especially against Man United. Very true, yeah. I believe the Leicester game not getting called off because Spurs have lost 3 games this season, hence making Leicester play. Yeah, fair one. Drop some Maximin because he can't defend, or leave him upfield as a threat against their wing backs. Maybe. I have heard a lot of people asking for some Maximin to be dropped, doing the watch along on Sunday against Leicester. A lot of people calling for some Maximin to be dropped, but I just feel like he can't be dropped because when he's good, he's unplayable. He's unbelievable. You just don't know which game you're going to get. When he's bad, he's absolutely vacant. He's not there. Like, might as well play with 10 men when he's having a bad day, but you don't know which one's going to turn up. Like, when he's good, he's too good to risk dropping just in case he is going to have one of them games. He can be the only spark. He can be the only creative outlet when he's good. So it's just a bit risky. Yeah, he can't defend and he doesn't track back much. So maybe leave him up the field. Keep him on the last man. Like heaving it long. Like, it's an awful tactic that I don't really enjoy watching, but it's something that may work. If you lump a ball long, gets over the last man, gets some Maximin in, he's going to burn any centre-back, whether it's Van Dijk, Matip, whoever's going to play. He's quicker than all of them. He's quicker than any centre-back in the Premier League. So if that happens, yeah, fair enough. But I just feel like he cannot be dropped at the minute. Any team can win on the day. Liverpool might be complacent. 3-4 in the tune. I like your optimism, Brian. Big fan of it. Lee Ryder reporting Steve Cook from Bournemouth could happen. Yeah, I wouldn't really be a fan of saying that one, to be honest with you. Maxi can't be dropped because he's too good and we don't have anyone as effective. Yeah, that is very, very true, Aaron. Right, so I'm going to go into my lineup prediction there then. I'll come back and have a look at your comments later. Let me know what you think. What's your score prediction? Hello, where you come from? Get your lineup predictions in as well as score predictions. So, of course, Martin Dubravka is going to be in goal, but where we're going to go from there? And I am going to go for a 3 at the back. We're going to go on to kind of wing backs / wingers in a moment. And obviously, as you can see, no Fernandes, as he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks, but certainly no Kieran Clark. So what else are we going to do? People have mentioned Isaac Hayden. Not a fan of it myself, to be honest. Kraft is okay, in my opinion. I think he's overanalyzed and a little bit harshly done by at times. Sometimes the criticism is worthy, but for me, when he plays on this right side of like a centre-back 3 or like a flat-back 5, that is his best position. I wouldn't play him centre-back in a back 4, and he's not the greatest right-back, which is his main position. That's basically why we signed him to cover as for right-back cover. But yeah, I think he's okay in this position. Like, sometimes he does get caught out, but if he's going to play anywhere, I'd rather it be there. And would I rather have him in than Kieran Clark? at the minute, yes. Would I rather have him in than Hayden? Probably, because it's a bit more of a natural position than it is for Isaac Hayden. I think Hayden's more suited to playing centre mid, and I think it's maybe something that we could do with. So, yeah, Lascelles keeps his place only because he's the captain, and Shaw keeps his place because there's no one else, really. Wing backs. Jamal Lewis keeps his place. Not time yet for Richie to come back. Like, Lewis didn't have his best game against Leicester, but then again, no one did. Pretty decent form before that, so we'll see about that one. But it's sticking my neck out on the line a little bit to say Ryan Fraser might play as a right wing back. We have seen him play there before. I'm sure he's played for Scotland there before, and Eddie Howe has played him there before. We have seen him play there a couple of times so far this season, I think, when Eddie Howe first came in. It's not my preferred position to see him there. If I was going to play this formation, preferably I'd rather see Jacob Murphy do it. Question him at times at wing back. Is Manquillo a good wing back? I don't know. So I don't know. It's a bit of a three-way flip of a coin there. Fraser, Manquillo, or Murphy. I don't know. It's a bit of a tough one, but I just think because it's Eddie Howe and they are comfortable with each other, they know each other's games. I just think Fraser's maybe he's got the nod for me. I feel he's been a bit harshly done by recently as well because he was in good form. He was really, really doing well. It was Sir Maximin's goal, the third goal against Brentford, Eddie Howe's first game in charge where he wasn't actually there because he had COVID. Fraser came on quite late. Great ball in to Sir Maximin at the back post. Fantastic assist. Played a couple of games. Played okay. Was the one sacrificed 9 minutes into the game against Norwich because of Kieran Clark's red card. Had to bring on a defender. Brought on Fernandez. And since then, he's been injured. I think he picked up a little niggly hamstring injury. So he was an unused sub at Leicester, I believe. Or was he? Did he come on? I can't remember who came on. But yeah, he was a sub against Leicester and missed out the Burnley game because of the hamstring injury. So it would be nice to see him brought back in, but like I say, it could really be anyone there. So that one I'm not 100% convinced on, but can't see it happening. Into centre mid, Shelvey keeps his place. Joe Willock doesn't. I think it's time that Hayden came back, especially for this game. People have been saying that he should be playing centre-back. I think in this formation, against teams like Leicester, against like Liverpool and City, it would be completely understandable if when they're on the attack, when they're on position, drop to like a 6 at the back formation, which sounds awfully, horribly defensive, and I want to punch myself in the face for saying it. But Hayden can drop into the back line. Lewis and Fraser can drop into full-back positions. Like Eddie Howe does like to do that, like kind of change formation depending on the position of the ball on the field. So we could see that. Obviously, Hayden's going to be a hell of a lot better than that than what Willock and Shelvey will be. A lot better of a defensive nous. At least sit in front of the back three, back five. Rock at the back, centre, like defensive midfield type player. Yeah, so Willock just doesn't really do anything at the minute. It's like been a bit disappointing since Eddie Howe took, well, this season really, since he signed, not even since Eddie Howe took over, even when Steve Bruce was here, he wasn't living up to expectations. Expectations were a little bit high because of the brilliant end that he had last season on loan and second highest club record signing at the minute. So expectations are there for Willock. He's not delivering. But Shelvey's been doing okay. He is one that has been thriving under Eddie Howe. Decent performances. I say no one really had a good game against Leicester. It's always that kind of situation, though. People always just think about the last game. Like, no one really takes form into consideration of how people have been doing. People's minds are just on Leicester. Everyone had a shit game, so everyone should be dropped. Not really. Like, someone's got to play. I think someone said before, like, you've only got what you've got to use. Like, you can't make 11 changes. My squad's not that deep enough. It's not good enough. So you can't make change in, change out because we had one bad game. Like, last few games have been okay. You have been seeing some improvements under Eddie Howe, game by game. Great offensive performance against Brentford. Shite defensively. Good, decent performance against Norwich. Not good enough. Obviously, we're down to 10 men. We got overstretched in that game. Not good enough against... we were good enough against Burnley. There's been plenty of games, even under Steve Bruce, a couple of games, like the Leicester game, things like that. We've been doing okay. So yeah, you can't just because we got smashed on Sunday, you can't just say that everyone needs drops. Like yeah, so Shelby keeps his place for me, and we're going to go into the front three to finish it off. Which would see Almiron get dropped. That is maybe one that I'm not overly keen on. I think he was one of the one decent players, the ones that really tried and stuck his neck out on Sunday against Leicester. But if we're going to go into this formation, which is slightly more defensively, which I think is the sensible decision against Liverpool and Man City, someone's got to be sacrificed. People probably will say Sir Maximin because his performances lately have been canny shit. But like I said before, he's unplayable when he's good, and you never know what kind of game he's going to have. So he's undroppable. Callum Wilson's obviously undroppable. And so far, Joelinton's performances have been brilliant. So you can't really knock Joelinton at the minute. I wouldn't like to knock his form because, yeah, it has been really good. Him and Shelby are the two shining lights in the Eddie Howe era so far for me. So can't drop any one of them, in my opinion. Yeah, so that would unfortunately leave Almiron out. But it's good to have him for fresh legs in the second half if we are tiring out. Maybe change him for Joelinton if things aren't going well, so we've got a little bit more energy. Or Sir Maximin, either one, to be fair. If Sir Maximin's doing nout, get him off after an hour. Or if Joelinton's maybe he's looking a little bit tired, he's hold-up player and things aren't really working, we could do with a bit more of a workhorse, a bit more energy, a bit more pace up front and in the midfield, because Miggy is very good at dropping back. It's a good option to have. So, yeah, that's kind of my thinking behind it. Use him as a super sub if we need him in the second half. So that is my starting 11. And what is remaining is Caldalo, Manquillo, who will be dropped, Kieran Clark, who will come back into the squad, but only because Fernandez is out and Kraft will have to be brought back in. Matt Ritchie and Jeff Hendricks being an unused sub, I think, for the last 3 games in a row because people have been out. The Norwich game, we were out without Lascelles and Ritchie. The Burnley game, we were without Ryan Fraser. And for some reason that I don't believe was mentioned, Sean Longstaff missed the Leicester game on Sunday. Don't really know why. Must have picked up a little injury late on in the week. So that's why Jeff Hendrick came in. And again, there's been no mention of Sean Longstaff. So preferably, if it was up to me and he was fit, Sean Longstaff would be on the bench and Jeff Hendrick would be back in Dublin sipping on a Guinness. Joe Willock back onto the bench because he's getting dropped for Isaac Hayden. Jacob Murphy, who is questionable, might start him at right wing back. Wouldn't be opposed to saying that. Him or Manquillo. Almiron, as I mentioned, as the super sub, and Dwight Gale if we need a bit of help or a little bit of cover up front. So that is my team there then, guys. Going to put that back on while I have a little read through your comments. Let me see what you're saying. All right. That's why players don't want to live in Newcastle, so they can catch COVID easier. As London is spreading so fast, apparently, just making light of London being so good living. Ah, yeah, London's classmates. Definitely would rather live in London. Selling Lejeune looks like a silly decision. Yeah, I can get behind that. I didn't really like that idea. I understood it somewhat because he was major injury prone. I think in the last few games that I did see him play, he was a bit crap, to be honest with you. Like before he got his loan move to Alaves, I remember that was a pre-season, like the season before last. I think we played Middlesbrough and we got beat like 4-1, and I think he was responsible for all the goals. So I just don't know if because of the injuries, back-to-back big injuries, I'm sure it was like cruciate ligaments, wasn't it? He just looked like he'd lost half a yard of pace. So I think it was a good idea to loan him out just to get a little bit of form, a little bit of confidence, a bit more energy in. And he had a good loan spell at Alaves, which is understandable why they wanted to keep him permanently. So, yeah, selling him and not replacing him, I think, is the sillier decision. We should have either kept him or definitely replaced him because last season we were looking at 6 defenders, including Kraft and Paul Dummett. Paul Dummett hasn't played a minute this season because he's been injured. Clark's lifting. Kraft's not the best. So, yeah, definitely should have either kept Lejeune or signed the replacement. But that was Steve Bruce for you. Obviously, centre-back's going to be the main one, I believe, in the January transfer window. The likes of James Tarkowski, Nathan Ake, Connor Cody, Eric Bailly, Phil Jones being linked with players like that. So only a couple of them I would be quite happy with. The first three, obviously, not Phil Jones. Sorry, but hoping Maxi has a good game. Is it terrible? Right, I agree with what you're saying, but who else do you pick? Like, that's kind of what you do. Like, you hope everyone has a good game. You don't put people in and think, oh, well, you might not have a good game, so bang them in. Like, Smacksman is our best player, and that's a fact. Like, when he's on his day, but he's just in bad form. Like I said before, like, when he's in good form, when he has his days, he's unplayable. He's absolutely fantastic. So you can't drop him. I get what you're saying, I do, but I disagree with what you're saying. Hoping he has a good game is a terrible way to pick a team. We've only got certain options. We haven't got a very good or deep squad. So, and if you call him a bad bunch, he's most certainly the best of a bad bunch. So I don't know. Who would you rather pick? I'm assuming Almiron, maybe Murphy, but on his day, when he's good, he's twice as good as either of them put together. So Maxi keeps his place for another week for me until he has a really, really bad game, and then people get pissed off with him. As soon as I see the back three, I'm worried. Yep, me too. I don't really like picking it, but I'd be a little bit worried seeing a back four against Liverpool. Yeah, so we could play Manquillo right back, Sharon Lascelles and Lewis left back, which will give another option in midfield or up front. But we need to defend against Liverpool. They're too good, man. Salah can rip away a new bumhole, which we don't really need, especially coming up against Man City, who just scored 7 yesterday. So I don't know. Like, it's more of a back three that I think of, not a back three. I say a back five with like Fraser or whoever it is, Manquillo or Murphy, pushing back with Lewis as well. So I'll think of it more as a back five instead of a back three. It doesn't matter if it's Richie or Lewis when playing against Salah, who will have their lives. True, very, very true. We know that Jurgen Klopp is a fan of Jamal Lewis because they had a bid rejected for him before we signed him. So that's who Klopp wanted as Andy Robertson's backup, but in failing so got the Greek fullback Chimikas in. So he's a good player. He's got energy. He's got pace. So maybe he's a better option than Richie, who loses his head a bit. Maybe he's a bit stronger, a bit more physical. Maybe he's tougher to play against, I would say Richie is, but Lewis is just younger, fresher, quicker, more energy. So I think I'd rather that go up against Salah than Richie lose his head and kick his fucking ankles and get himself sent off. So yeah, I'd say that. 5-0, says Callum. Probably another 7, says Sean. Not going to lie, we are going to batter Newcastle. I mean, no one's lying, really. Like, Newcastle fans are saying that as well. Are you a Liverpool fan or a Man United fan? Not going to lie, we're going to batter Newcastle. It's just with that Sue thing, that's obviously a Man United thing, isn't it? So you're confusing there, Riley, who you're supporting, because Man United's not until after Christmas, so save that for that one. Don't see it going well for us. Going to go 4-1 to Liverpool. It's crucial we defend well and try and keep the goal deficit down. I'd be happy to see a goal at Anfield, not going to lie. But yeah, definitely need to keep the goal deficit down. If it's a 2-1 win, 2-1 defeat, acceptable in some way. Like, I just want to see a good performance. Like, I'd rather lose 2-0 and play really, really well than play 1-0 and be shit. So, like, I just want to see a good performance. Thoughts on getting relegated so we can have a clear out of these players who ultimately aren't good enough? Spend a year in the Championship but have fresh players. Don't like it. Not a fan of it. Don't want to get relegated because I think it's a backward step, especially with the money that can be invested in the summer. Obviously, go in the Championship, you're going to sign Championship players. That's exactly what we've done under Rafa. Rafa had a brilliant team. The signings that he made for the Championship were incredible. But look at where we are now. We've still got them. Do I want that to happen again? I just feel like it's going to be like 1 step forward, 3 steps back if we go down to the Championship. Like, yeah, we're going to have a clear out, but who we're going to get to replace them? Like, we're not going to get quality. Like, players want to play in the Premier League. Like, newly promoted sides can sign decent players. Like when Burnley signed like Defoe, Stephen Defoe, big fan of him. People like have gone like Like Cambiasso signed for Leicester when they first come up. Like that kind of thing happened. Like players will play in the Premier League, whoever it is, wherever it is, and especially if we're going to be the richest team in the Premier League, in the world, in fact, players are going to want to come. We might still get a few decent players in the Championship, but nah, I don't think so. I think we can still have a clear out. We don't need to go down to the Championship to have a clear out. We've got the owners who have ambition. We've got a manager who's not stupid, hasn't had time yet to implement his own squad. Like, I think he will start having a clear out. Like, we need it. We can afford it. Like, the likes of Hendrick, Clark, whoever's not doing well, Gale, 4 goalkeepers that we don't need. Like, I think we will do well without going down to the Championship. Like, I just feel like it's going to be a backward step. Like, next year, if we do stay up, we can have a better year. And I'm not saying we're going to get top 4 or anywhere near it. If we break anywhere near top 10, I'll be happy. And I think we can do that. If we stay in the Premier League, if we get, I don't know, 200 million to spend in January, as been rumoured as what I've read. I'm not saying that we're going to, but we'll spend a lot of money in January, get some good players in, like Trippier, Ake, Tarkowski, Lingard. Good, very, very good Premier League players. I'll be happy with that. If it's good enough to keep it up, fantastic. We've got them players. We're in the Premier League. We can build on that. We can get rid of some more dead wood and add to what we've had. Like, we could have like a 500 million transfer budget in the summer. That could get with top 10. It could within 1 year. Like, I know people are getting a little ambitious saying that we're going to sign Mbappe and win the Premier League in 2-3 years. I'm not that optimistic, but as long as we get some good players, stay in the Premier League, climb up, earn our stripes, get 10th to 12th, break top 10, sit top 10 comfortably for a year or two, break Europa League, sit comfortably in the top 6 for a year or two, break top 4. It could be a 10-year plan before anyone's thinking about Premier League or Champions League. Fuck me. Like, Man City still haven't won the Champions League. If we can sit quite comfortably between 3rd and 6th for 5 years, we'll bounce between Champions League football, Europa League football, maybe get knocked out with the group stage, okay. As long as we get to have a good European night, like, that is ambition for me. That's progression. That's building a team. Like, that's what we need to do. And I just feel like going down to the Championship, it's going to take a hell of a lot longer to do that. So, nah, I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. Don't think Lewis is that good in a back 5. So Richie coming back in could be a shout. It could be. He's been in poor form, but has something to prove. Yeah, I think it's good to have competition. Richie's been quite comfortable this season before Lewis got his opportunity. Obviously, you only got it because Richie was suspended, but that's the game. Step up when you can. If you get injured or suspended, you've got to expect the next person to step up, and you're not going to come and fill their shoes straight away when you come back. So that's why we need more options, like right back, centre back, centre mid, even up front. Like, without Wilson, we've got no options. So we need strength and depth. A starting 11 won't win you anything. You need a squad. You need rotation. Look at Man City and Chelsea. At the minute, they could probably field 3 Premier League teams that could beat anyone else in the league. Like, that's how good, that's how deep they are. That's why they're where they are. Teams like us will lose Wilson and Maximin. We're fucked. We'll lose, I don't know, even like Lascelles and Richie. A couple of games. Then Clark gets suspended. It's just a downward slope. Who we got? We're looking at Kraft. We're looking at Dummett. Like, it's just not good enough. So, competition is key. How said Longstaff missed out purely on tactics. Like, did he? I didn't say that one. Fair enough. So yeah, hopefully he's back for the weekend. Then get Hendrick out of the team. ASM on the bench and start Almiron. Not been great of recent and doesn't help out enough defensively. Yeah, agreed with that. Yeah, Almiron is definitely better defensively. To be fair, having Maxi on the pitch, regardless if he plays well, he drags opposing players towards him and potentially create spaces for others. Yes, he does. Yeah, obviously that's what he's good at. That's why he's good to have on the field, because he's good getting forward, great in attack. The only way for Maxi to get out of this bad spell is for him to play through it. Yeah, that's a very good point as well. Yeah, I don't think getting on the bench is going to do anything for him. Might be a bit of a kick up the arse. I know we used to do that with Jose Perez quite a bit back in the day. He would go through bad spells of games, get dropped for 1 or 2 games, come off the bench, score a winner. Then he score goals for the next couple of games in a row. So it might be a kick up the arse for him, but I would rather he played through it because, like I say, I feel like he's undroppable. I feel like he's too good to drop, too much of a risk to drop him as well. So 3-5-1-1 and try and hit Liverpool on the break, especially down the flanks, as that's where the spaces will be. Good option. Back 3 or back 5 is white flag Bruce style. We are going to get beat, but fair one. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that if we did play a bit more attacking. Give them a go. I'm okay with that. Like I said before, I'm not bothered what the score is. I'm not afraid to lose. I just want to see good football. Under Steve Bruce, often we would get beat and play bad football, which was shit. Like we'll get hammered. Like even against Liverpool, we could get beat like 2-0 away, and it would be shit. It just I'm not bothered about the scoreline. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the scoreline, even if we got beat 7-0. But like everyone done what they were meant to do. If you simply get beat by a better team, you can't be mad at that. As long as you play well, every man, all of the 11 players, 3 subs. If you play well, put effort in, fight, and just try. That's all you can really ask for against teams like Liverpool and City. We know we're not as good as what they are. So scoreline aside, just play well. That's all you can do. I think it'll be tighter than people think. 2-1 or 2-0 Liverpool. Yeah, me too. I think it will be that as well. Hope to God Kraft is playing. Can't stand the bloke. Worst right back I've seen. I think I was meant to say, hope to God Kraft isn't playing, I would assume. Eddie can always bring in Richie as straight swap for Fraser in the second half. Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah, so that formation could work quite well there. Obviously, Richie used to play on the right all the time. Wouldn't happen under new owners. Reason we still have these players is because of lack of investment from the previous ownership. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so yeah, like I agree with what you're trying to say, Jack, 100%. But it's still just who wants to come though. Like, yeah, we'll still give players contracts, and people might still come for the money, but it's just the championship. It's just a backward step for me if we'd went on to the championship. So I just feel like attracting the right players, like it'd just be too much of a rotation. So if we'd done what like we'd done when Rafa went down and bought a championship team, that means the year after you're gonna have to sell all them and retry. Like, yeah, we can probably afford it, but it's just a bit too much change. I'd rather have a bit of stability going forward. So that's why I'm not, and that's why I really just don't want to get relegated. The players not realize there's no difference in transfer window. The people not realize there's no difference in transfer window, whatever league you're in. Why would going down help? Fair one. Whoever suggests benching Maximin needs to get the head checked. He's our most threatening attacking outlet, and if there is a goal in us, he'll definitely be involved one way or another. Maximin is a luxury player we can't afford at the minute. He can beat players and drag defenders out, but we don't have the quality of team around him for him to be effective until we buy better. Very good point. Yeah, definitely agree with that, DJ Fury. Right, so that is about it for me. Going on for 43 minutes there. Just going to pop my lineup then. Back again if you're just tuning in. Appreciate everyone for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the game tomorrow. Let me see your lineup prediction as well as your score prediction. Come back for the content after the game tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff against Liverpool at Anfield, live on BT Sport. Like this video, subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourself.